Welcome back to the ATL, All Things Life, my faith and lifestyle channel. And first things first, I want to give credit to where credit is due. Mr. Make It Happen. This recipe was one of the most flavorful, juiciest, tender pot roast recipes that I've had in a very long time. So I will link his channel and all of the information to the ingredients in the description box below. If you know that down home soul food meal that you have after church, that pot roast with those peas and that macaroni and cheese, this is the recipe for you. This was my first time cooking pot roast over the stove and then in the oven, and I was so proud of myself. Got this from Sam's. It comes in a 2-pack, and that wasn't a lot of fat on it, so I just washed it really good and patted it dry and went in with my flavors. I also used purple onions. That was just my onions of choice. And a key ingredient is the garlic. I felt like the garlic was the star of the show in the juices of this recipe. So make sure that you have a fresh garlic clove. Purple onion is just my jam. I love the flavors in it, but you want to make sure you cut just the bottom of the garlic clove. It was a little hard for me. I'm not a good cutter. I've cut my fingers so many times, but you want to get that just cut at the bottom and then peel off the layers of skin as much as you can, but you're just going to put the whole garlic clove in there, and I just feel like that was one of the star key components to adding to the flavor of this pot roast. Now, as y'all can tell, like I said, I am not a good cutter of vegetables, so excuse the way that I cut, but this is what works for me. You do what works for you. I like chunky vegetables in my pot roast, so I decided to keep them this size. Now you want to put your heat on medium high, and I had some vegetable oil, but you can use any oil of your choice. Get that nice and hot, and then put that baby on in there to a good sear. This may look like it's burnt, but it's not. It's just the steam coming off from the meat. You know, she was just cooking at things. We over here in the ATL, we was cooking. Now you want to get that to a nice golden sear, maybe about 4 or 5 minutes per side. I'm not sure, depending upon the size of your pot roast. So I felt like that was a good enough sear. Put that off to the side, and then you're going to put all of the ingredients, the rest of the ingredients, in layers. Look at that. Look, ooh, ATL is cooking and things over here. So I turned my heat down just a little bit, and I started to place all of my other ingredients into the pot. Now, once you place those onions and garlic, you want to put that whole stick of butter and let it get good and melted, and then allow your onions to get somewhat translucent. Now that my butter has melted, I put in some sprigs of thyme and rosemary. I really do believe that fresh is the key. I understand we have the seasonings that's in a bottle. You can use those, but I really felt like this brought out so much more flavor in my meat. So I put those in after the butter melted. You want to use some of the juices of the pepperoncini peppers as well. It gives a nice tang to the meat. And you also want to add the pepperoncinis whole. Not all at one time, just some of them, because the rest of them you're going to place on top of the meat. Now we want to put that nice golden seared pot roast on top. Just lay it on top. Don't ask me why I'm poking it. I just thought I was doing something. Now that that is placed in the pot, you want to put the remaining pepperoncini peppers into your pot. This is some beef broth. I really couldn't measure this. I just eyed it until I started to see the broth eye to eye with the roast. That way I can add later if I don't feel like there's enough broth. But for now, I just eyed it to the pot roast level. You want to take your ranch seasoning packet, pour that entire packet into the pot. I thought it was too much, but I was just going by a wing and a prayer, hoping that it came out right. And trust me, it will. So you add that, and then you're going to take your all just gravy and you add that entire packet as well. This was a key combination with the garlic and the onions and the pepperoncini juices. It just really added that juice flavor to there. I don't like a thick gravy, so I added some more beef broth. I didn't want like a gravy, I just wanted like a nice roux sauce. So that's what I believe that this pot roast recipe gave. You go ahead and preheat your oven and go ahead and place that bad boy in the oven. And let me tell you, the results were amazing. Y'all just trust me on this one, okay? Make sure that you go and watch Mr. Make It Happen's recipe line by line. That's exactly what I did. And this is how it came out. Oh my gosh. When I tell you, it was just so good. We ate almost all of it in one day. Couldn't even believe I made this. So I made some homemade garlic mashed potatoes, and I used that same gravy from the meat, the same garlic, all of that as my gravy to go on top. I hope that you try this recipe. Let me know in the comments below if you do, how it turned out. I like good food, and this was good. This was good food, y'all. So I'm gonna plate my pot roast on up and enjoy my meal. And I hope you all enjoyed this as well. If you have any comments, make sure that you comment in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.